Alycats indie viewers. So today I'm bringing you my top 20 games of this generation. And I know there's been a ton of good games this generation. I know I'm probably going to exclude some that you loved in my list, but it's my list, it's my opinion. So please respect that, enjoy the video. Let me know what your favorite games of the generation were, whether it's top 5, top 10, top 20, whatever. Just let me know, and remember to subscribe, like, favor, and comment, and I'm just going to get started. Number 20 on my list is The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. This game really made me love Western RPGs, but it's not at number 20 because it had so many glitches. Like, I had the PlayStation 3 version, and there was a game-breaking glitch that I couldn't even play this game for about 4 months. Couldn't complete the main storyline until Bethesda fixed it. But it's an amazing achievement. It's a huge world. You can be you can choose from several different races to be, and you can basically choose whether you want to be, a mage, or if you want to be a warrior type, or whatever. And there's all these different guilds to join, and it's just really impressive. And it introduced dragons into the Elder Scrolls games, like actual dragons, not just mentioning them. And it is always really, really satisfying to defeat a dragon. So if you've not played Skyrim yet, definitely try it, because it'll suck up a lot of your time, but it'll change your opinion about Western RPGs if you don't like them. And it's really easy to get into, and I love it so much. My next game, of course, is a downloadable game, and that would be Super Meat Boy. And yes, Super Meat Boy is one of the hardest games that has ever been created. Even though it's a downloadable title, it's super hard, and there's only 3 buttons you use: A, right trigger, and the left analog stick. But you're Meat Boy, and you're trying to rescue your girlfriend, Bandage Girl, from Dr. Fetus. And you have to go through all these levels that are filled with spikes, salt, saw blades, whatever. And it's super hard. You get blisters on your fingers from playing. You throw your controller because you get so mad, but it's that kind of game where you're just like, one more try, one more try, one more try. And that's why I made this list, because it's so addictive, so punishing, but so rewarding in the end. Next up is Deadly Premonition, which is number 18. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, why is Deadly Premonition on your list? Well, I love this game personally, and this is not a game where you're just like, I liked it. This is either I absolutely hate this game, or oh my gosh, this is like one of the best games ever made. And I'm one of the people that think it's one of the best games ever made. And yes, I know the graphics are crappy, but they're meant to be crappy. The controls are clunky, but they're meant to be clunky. They're supposed to be reminiscent of the survival horror days, like Resident Evil on the PS1 or Silent Hill. And it's just, the story is you're Francis York Morgan going to investigate this town that's been having a lot of murders, and there's red seeds involved, there's the raincoat killer, there's a lot of creepy elements in this, but there's also a lot of funny elements. And the really cool thing about this game, which a lot of people think this is annoying, you have to feed yourself, you have to change clothes, you have to shave, because if you don't, your pay rate goes down, or if you don't eat enough, your stamina goes down. But the story is so engrossing, and I mean, the story just, even though the graphics kind of suck and the controls are pretty wonky, I mean, once you get used to it, the controls are fine, but the story totally makes up for that. So if you like survival horror games, this is definitely a gem, and you should pick it up. And I just can't recommend this enough. It's like the Twin Peaks of video games. Number 17 on the list is Bayonetta, the sexy Umbra Witch. If you like Devil May Cry style games, definitely try Bayonetta. She is one of my favorite female video game protagonists, and this game is just over the top, and there's so many different just random things thrown into this game, like God is thrown in here, angels, and just the story of Bayonetta herself is just incredible. The cast and characters are amazing, voice acting is superb, the end credits are some of the best end credits you'll ever experience, and not a lot of people, I mean, this is kind of like a cult classic game, but it's really enjoyable, and it is difficult, but it's just like Devil May Cry, except better in my opinion. I just love it so much, and every time someone's like, hey, what game should I pick? I like hack and slash games or whatever, I always say Bayonetta, because you'll have a lot of fun with it, and you'll just your brain will explode with happiness playing this game because it's just that great. And I think this is number 16, but I'm not sure. I've lost count, but you keep up with the math now. It's Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Now this game is a downloadable game. All the games on note cards are downloadable. It's a very unique game though because it's basically a single player co-op game, and you control Big Brother with the left thumbstick and left trigger. You can control little brother with the right trigger and right thumbstick. And your mother has died, your father's sick, so both of the brothers are on a quest to find this magical water to heal their father. And it's just, there's so many plot twists, and it's such a unique concept, just controlling the brothers with thumbsticks and triggers. It is a little tricky at first to get used to the controls, but after you get used to it, then you're just golden. And it's a great game. And it's a little gem, and it's fantastic. The art style is very reminiscent of Fable, but it's a very dark story, and I just love the story. I mean, there's no spoken dialogue. It's kind of like they have their own language, like Simlish or whatever, but you understand what they're saying, kind of, which is really weird, but that's what makes the story so great. And the game has very simple puzzles. You're not going to get stumped on the puzzles, but they just add to the story and the entire experience. The only downside is it's about 2 to 3 hours long, but it's a journey you won't forget. Number 15 on the list is Fallout 3, and I have the Game of the Year edition, but Fallout 3, I hated this game at first. I mean, I loved how you were born into the world and you get to customize your character, and the tutorial is basically your childhood years growing up. But once I actually got out into the wasteland, I was confused. I wanted to give up, but I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't because I just became engrossed in this game. I put in over 100 hours, completed the main storyline and most of the side quests, and just, games are falling off. This game is incredible. It introduced the VAT system, which VATS is one of my favorite battle systems of all time, and I didn't really experience many glitches with this game actually. Unlike Skyrim, Fallout 3 to me didn't have a lot of glitches. I don't know if I lucked out, but I prefer this over Skyrim because it's just so bleak, but the story is so great. There's so many good characters. Dogmeat, and there's Megaton. Is it Megaton, the town where the bomb is? I haven't played this in a while. But I just loved exploring the wasteland, going to all the different locations like Washington, D.C. after it's been destroyed, and encountering all these different mutants and creatures. And all the DLC add-on packs are actually really fun to go through. So Fallout 3 is number 15 on the list. Number 14 is Rayman Origins, and I don't like platforming games usually, but Rayman Origins changed that. Rayman Origins starts off really simple, but it escalates in difficulty, but it's such a beautiful game. It looks like it's been hand-painted onto your screen, and it's so beautiful. Your eyes will just sing hallelujah when you play the game. And the controls are very simple and fluid, they're very precise, and you never feel like you're cheated, like if you make a jump, it's your fault if you missed. And it does get complicated sometimes, but it's so rewarding once you finish a really difficult level, and you have to collect looms. You don't have to collect looms, but you're encouraged to collect looms, and you want to find them all because they're just screaming, help me, help me, help me, and you're just like, oh. But it's such a good game. I mean, even if you don't go and find all the looms and collect all the Electoons, it's still a good platforming game. I haven't played Legends yet. This is why Origins is on the list, because I haven't played Legends, but Origins, I think, really reinvigorated the platforming genre, and really reinvigorated the Rayman franchise as well, because this is a glowing achievement. Number 13 on the list is Shadow Complex. Downloadable game. But Shadow Complex was a game I wasn't sure about downloading at first, but I fell in love with it. And I know Orson Scott Card wrote the story for Shadow Complex, and a lot of people won't play it because of that. But if you look past that, just ignore that Orson Scott Card wrote the story. It's an incredible game. It's in the Metroidvania style, and it's about this guy that his girlfriend gets kidnapped, so he has to go through this laboratory and go through all the levels. And there's a lot of backtracking, of course. Once you find a weapon, you might have to go back and backtrack to rooms you didn't get to go to before because you didn't have that weapon. And the story is just really intriguing, and it's actually a pretty long game for a downloadable title. It's about 10 to 12 hours, and there's just so many cool things about it. I mean, Nolan North is the voice of the main character, which is awesome. But I mean, it was one of the first games to use the Unreal Engine 3, and it was developed by Cherry Entertainment and published by Epic Games. And it's just superb. If you have not played Shadow Complex, play it. It's gorgeous. It's really addictive, and if you like Metroidvania type of games, play that. And I've lost count again. No, wait. This is 12. No, this is 11. 11. Or is it? No, this is 12. I'm so confused right now because I'm bad with math, but BioShock Infinite. You might wonder why this is not higher on the list, but there's a lot of great games that have come out this generation. BioShock Infinite, though, was fantastic. It's a beautiful game, one of the most beautiful games I've ever experienced. And the storyline is crazy. And the storyline can be confusing, but it's one hell of a story. And you're Booker DeWitt, who is voiced by Troy Baker, and you find this girl, Elizabeth, and she's your ally, and she's actually one of the best AI partners I've ever played with. Like, she doesn't, run from enemies and get killed. She doesn't need reviving. She basically takes care of herself. I mean, she hides, but she throws you ammo and health and Eve and all that. So that's great. Did I say Eve? Vigor. Salts. Sorry. Getting my Bioshocks mixed up. But it's just a really, really compelling journey. Columbia is a beautiful city. You want to explore every inch of it. The first hour of the game doesn't even involve any combat. It's just you exploring Columbia, which was an amazing, amazing intro to the game. And I can't praise it highly enough. So, I mean, if you haven't played BioShock Infinite yet, give it a chance because it incorporates first-person shooting, RPG, type of leveling stuff, and action-adventure. It's a bunch of different genres rolled together, and it's one of the most gorgeous games you could play. It has one of the best storylines ever. You'll be shocked by the ending unless you figure it out halfway through like I did. And Irrational Games just can't do wrong, in my opinion. I mean, they can't create a bad game. And number 11 on the list, I've got my numbers right now, is the new Tomb Raider. Oh my gosh. I'm such a huge Tomb Raider fan. And I went into this not really knowing how this would go, because it wasn't the rape scene or anything that bothered me, which there is no rape scene. But I was just like, what? How are they going to reinvent Lara? But they did it so beautifully, and it's such a great action-adventure game. And it incorporates stealth, and there's a great story. It's basically her origin story, how she became the Tomb Raider. And it's just very compelling. It's beautiful. Camilla Luddington did an amazing job voicing Lara. And I'm super excited for the sequel that's coming out, because there's going to be a sequel. And there's also the Definitive Edition coming out for Xbox One and PS4, which is the same game, but it has 6 different outfits for Lara and all the DLC that came out for this version. But if you like action-adventure games, if you like Tomb Raider, definitely do pick this game up. It does have tombs in it, but you're not in tombs the whole time. You're on an island trying to find your friends. Tombs are basically optional, but they're really fun to go through and find the treasure and figure out the puzzles. And it's just one of the best action-adventure games I've ever played. So that rounds out this episode of my top 20 games of this generation. As you can tell, I went through 20 through 11. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will have 10 to 1. So I'm super excited to show you, and remember, like I said before, subscribe, like, comment, favorite. Let me know what your favorite games of this generation were. I love each and every one of you. Peace and kisses. Bye.